wild cases on Paternity Court.
You said because your mother was a whore and sleeping with somebody else in the backseat of a car.
No, this is
That
how
is what you said.
This is how it is.
That is what you said. You are her father.
No way. Hey, baby,
Now you
I'm
know.
sorry.
Now you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
The man hired a spy to confront his sly wife. Mr. Malone stepped up in the court when his watchdog caught his wife with another man that raised paternity doubts in his mind. And DNA diagnostics would determine the future of their relationship.
Ms. Malone, you admit to cheating on your boyfriend, but are positive he's Avery's father. Today, you are hoping the DNA test will restore your relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Malone, why are these results so important to you?
Results are real important to me because I really want to know if Avery's really mine or if she isn't.
So the trial began with the nature of their relationship. It turned out that they had met through a dating app, but as time passed and he got to know that she'd been swindling around, things went down the wishy-washy road.
Ms. Malone, you had a great relationship in the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
And then somewhere along the line, it started getting a little wishy-washy?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened?
I found out that she was doing a lot of sneaking around when I was in the house.
What kind of
And
sneaking?
Going through the alleys, meeting people.
Mrs. Malone confessed that when her husband stopped paying attention to her, she rolled her eyes over other guys. However, the man alleged that even after her swindling, he wanted to sort things out between them.
He wasn't showing me any attention.
We wasn't on a break at all.
Were you
For
all
my knowledge,
committed?
we was in a relationship
Your Honor,
still.
yeah, we've been on and off for 3 years now. Right now, we're off.
Are you living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're off, but you live together.
Yes,
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, Mr. Malone put on his little detective show. It slipped that he hired a watchdog to confront his wife. As you know, trust is the pivotal element of a relationship, and if you don't have this, you would probably end up doing what this man did.
Do you remember that confrontation, Ms. Malone?
I told him that it was my father that came to the door, and he actually asked my father, and my father said, yes, I came over there that day.
Did your watchdog say that there were any other men, Mr. Mason?
There were multiple.
Did he give descriptions
And-
of all of them?
No, Your Honor,
Yes,
it was
Your
not.
Honor.
However, the baby mama confessed that she was messing around with other guys, because the plaintiff was not the man she expected him to be. But does this give anyone the pass of sleeping in another man's bed?
When you cheated, when you were out with this other person, was that during the window of conception?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you cheated, did you also have an intimate relationship with Mr. Mason during the same window of conception?
Yes, Your Honor, multiple times.
Okay, so the pregnancy news came. It was exposed that her conception scoop enraged the potential father, and he ferociously announced to her family that Mrs. Malone was carrying a child that was not his. Oof, that must have embarrassed mommy.
Your Honor, I had anger for the simple fact that I was working all these hours trying to provide for my family. And she's sneaking with different guys in and out of the house.
And that hurt you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you made an announcement?
I just announced that she was pregnant. That was
And it was not his.
While her mother
In front of everybody in the living room.
Oh my! Mr. Malone got the nerve of denying the baby, but lost the sense of identifying his child and the baby girl in question. This time, baby mama's solid evidence said it all like this.
This is me, LaQuisha Malone. Do you know who this is? Me again. Do you know this is Avery, Mr. Mason? It's not me. Yes, it is. You can't tell me that's not Avery. Mr. Mason, okay, I'll show you. Me. No, Marcus, don't argue with me. It's Avery. Me, I'ma show you Kaysen. This is our oldest daughter, Kaysen.
To clear up the shady situation, Judge Lauren asked the witness to step up to the podium. Grandma pleaded that Mr. Malone was not the father because his daughter had been sleeping with others as they were on a break.
Mr. Mason is your granddaughter's biological father.
No, I do not, because they were on a break when she was conceived, and I knew that my child was seeing someone else because they were on a break.
Despite these facts, it was disclosed that the baby mama was expecting another child with Mr. Malone. And the bad part was that her unborn child was also in paternity question. Ugh, these people have made things worse themselves.
Is there a question as to the paternity of this child as well?
Yes, Your Honor. He doesn't think that the unborn is his.
I did it first until I found proof of doubt in Miss Malone's phone. This is your son. Don't he look just like you?
It was evident that the promiscuity of Mrs. Malone had jeopardized their relationship, and there was no clarification on any point. So the last thing to settle this dispute was to get to those results.
Mr. Mason, you are not her father. What are you feeling in this moment, sir?
I'm mad, Your Honor, but I can't be really mad about something that I already knew.
Two girls faced the court to find their paternity from the alleged father, Mr. Hansen. Miss Percival and Miss Teresa both knew him as their father for 31 years. But the twist of the story is that he denied the first plaintiff, Miss Percival, but accepted the other plaintiff, Miss Teresa. The case is unsettling and ambiguous, and the only way to get them closure is with that DNA test solution.
Miss Percival, you say for the past 31 years your father has never been willing to accept you as his biological daughter.
Correct, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Hansen, you claim you did not sleep with Miss Percival's mother at the time she was conceived, and there is no way she is your daughter.
That's right, Your Honor.
The first plaintiff stated that he has rejected her all this time, but accepted her other sister, which he shared with her mother, and refused to take the DNA test. So the judge asked the defendant the reasons for his denial.
I just got out of a 20-year marriage. I was with the woman 20 years, never cheated on her.
You're in a marriage.
Yes, I was with the other woman at the time she was conceived. So there's no way she could be my daughter.
After his weird statement about his other girl, Miss Teresa, the judge asked the plaintiff's mother, Miss Villalpando's opinion on the situation of paternity. She said they were in an on and off again relationship, and then exposed the dirty ways of the defendant.
He told me there is no way I can be your father. When I asked him for the DNA test, he said because your mother was a whore and sleeping with somebody else in the backseat of a car.
No, this is
That
how
is what you said.
This is how it is.
That is what you said.
Were you intimate with Mr. Hansen while he was with his wife?
Yes, we were seeing each other off and on, and then he
No.
went back to Tracy.
The judge asked him about Miss Percival's birth, and he said he didn't know until she was 13 years old. But her mother replied she told him about the baby already. Then the judge asked them about the DNA test, and the plaintiff said she asked him, and they continued arguing over their statements.
I wasn't even around her. I don't even know where she's getting this.
When you first met Miss Percival and you were told this was your daughter, you first laid eyes on her. What did you think? Did you think she looked like you?
No, I know she wasn't mine. I know. She looks more like a guy that she took a ride in a van with.
Oh, yeah.
Then the judge moved forward and brought the other plaintiff, Miss Teresa, and her mother for their statements in the case. Miss Merchant started bluntly answering the questions and dropped truth bombs everywhere.
So, Miss Merchant, you were married to Mr. Hansen at the time that Miss Percival was conceived.
I knew she was his when she was born.
You did?
Yes, I
No,
did.
that's a
Yes,
lie.
I did.
I was with you. How could I be with
And
you?
her.
No, I was not.
Yeah, you
No,
were.
I wasn't.
They're right. He is a constant, pathetic liar. Then the second plaintiff, Miss Teresa, testified that he was an in-and-out father in her life and called her a whore like her mother. She also shared that he practiced unequal treatment with her.
He never denied any of my brothers. He's always taken care of them. And I just always felt like I was never worth having a father.
I go over there all the time to her house.
The past
I'm
year
close
and
to
a
my
half,
grandkids.
He's 31.
Yeah, I know.
31.
How long did it take to find
Not
you?
3
You were
months.
married 5 times.
No.
Everywhere else. I didn't know where you were.
He's a terrible person and a psycho. I mean, who calls small girls whores? Miss Teresa continued that he always called her mother a bad person, and her mom never said anything against him. She further shared her feelings regarding an absent father.
No, I
You
don't.
still tell her
no,
I'm a
I
whore.
don't.
You
The only
still
thing we're
talk
dealing
about
with
her.
is what we're dealing with now.
You truly don't know who your father is.
No matter
I hear
what,
one thing
Your
and I hear another. As far as I'm concerned, he's my father, so was both of my parents. I feel stuck right now because I don't know.
But no matter
I
what,
need answers.
no matter what, she's gonna be
I
my
need
daughter,
answers.
no matter the outcome.
After her statements, Mr. Hansen comforted the second plaintiff about accepting his responsibility, and Miss Percival got angry and asked the defendant about his duty towards her. And upon his denial again, she submitted proof of her paternity.
I was with Tracy at the time. I was never with Miss Percival at that time. I was with Tracy.
But you do admit that you had a sexual relationship with Miss Villalpando.
Yeah, a couple years before that, because there's no way. I was with Tracy at the time.
To cope with pain, a person can go down in any pit. The poor girls are stuck in their lives with a father like him. Upon listening to Miss Teresa's feelings, Miss Percival couldn't hold herself strong this time, and also cried her heart out.
For not having a father figure in my life and him denying me for 31 years. It was the worst growing up like that.
See,
it was
they're
the
saying
worst.
I'm denying him.
You are denying him.
I'm
You
not
are.
denying him if
That's
I
the-
can't find him.
No.
This case was a whole pack of heartbreak, broken lives, and lies from the defendant. And it was time for the results to solve their troubles and give them closure with reality.
Mr. Hanson, you are her father.
Yeah.
Mr. Hanson, you are her father.
No way.
Childhood friendship gets lost when you overstep your boundaries and do something inappropriate like this, where the plaintiff claimed that her friend Mr. Rogers denied the paternity of her son, and the defendant had been incarcerated for 2 months for failing to pay child support.
Mr. Rogers, you say you spent 2 months in jail for unpaid child support and are currently behind more than $2,500 in payments for a child who is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
You and your mother are here to prove that you are not Ryland's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff said that they'd been dating for a long time. She admitted sleeping with someone else, but during the conception period, she only slept with the defendant, and she added that his mom didn't approve of their relationship. Then, Mr. Rogers cut her off, explaining his side of the story.
So you all kept this a secret?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And you all were having unprotected sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. She texted me one day, sent me a picture while I was at work, and it was a sticky note that says 6 weeks pregnant. I text back, congratulations, tell the other guy congratulations.
But were you sleeping with her during the window of conception?
Yes, ma'am. We had slept together.
I was not in a relationship, Your Honor, with anybody.
The judge asked about pregnancy, and the plaintiff said that she'd been doing everything on her own. She added that the defendant came to the hospital but left before the baby's birth. Then Mr. Rogers defended his actions.
I felt like she was trying to push me as the father because she knew we would always be there. Our families would be
Her
together.
dad and I were best friends. All that's been ruined since all this has happened.
The truth is you all grew up like brother and sisters,
Yes, Your Honor.
cousins,
Grew up
'cause I
in
mean,
my home.
That was my home away from home. I mean, I was always with them.
Like you can see in that picture, like we was friends, we was happy. Like, we was best friends growing up, literally best
She
friends.
was like one of my children, Your Honor.
The judge asked the defendant's mother to share her feelings, and she said that Miss Walters was like her daughter. They were like a family, but they were shocked about the relationship. Then she added how she found out about the plaintiff's cheating.
did you ask her about it once you found those condoms?
I did not.
So when
Doesn't
you
matter.
first found out she was pregnant,
I got a phone call and said, Lindsay's pregnant and she's saying Roy's the father. Well, Roy was with me at the time. And I turned around and I said, Roy, did you know that? He said, that is not my baby mama.
did you know at that time they had been sleeping together?
No, that was when I found out.
That was when you found out.
After the mother's statement, the defendant quickly said that he didn't sign the birth certificate, but the court sent him a DNA test date, which he missed because he was in a different state, and the court automatically assumed him a father. He further shared how he got arrested for it.
2 weeks later, I was on the way to the beach for my sister's birthday. Well, my buddy happened to be speeding. Cop pulls us over, gave my buddy a breathalyzer. He failed it, so he locks him up in the car. So the cop puts him in the car, walks back up to me, and I heard him call over his radio. Roy Rogers has a warrant out of Monroe County for child neglect.
Now, the judge concluded that the plaintiff knew there were 2 possible fathers, and the witness agreed to it. Moreover, the defendant's sister said she told everyone about the other possibility. The judge turned to Miss Walter to explain the situation.
I honestly believed it was not mine, Your Honor. And Your Honor, we live in a small town. Like, our town is not big at all where we're from. And it's just everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, word gets around. I was hearing from multiple different people that she was sleeping with multiple different people.
Your Honor, at this time, he was dating a girl. She had fed him that this is not your child. He's not yours. He's not going to be yours.
The judge gave all of them a chance to share their doubts, and they gave their reasons regarding the denial of the baby. Later, asked about the witness about any other possibility, and she recalled all the events.
I know for a fact there was 2 people that she was sleeping with at the time, which was including my brother and the other guy. I know that for a fact. But as far as her sleeping with multiple men, I knew that there was different people, but in that time period, I couldn't per se, during that time period, she slept with 3 or 4 different people. On my side, it put me in a horrible situation because Lindsay's my best friend and this is my brother.
Everyone was so upset with the situation they were in. The loving family friends were now separated and broken because of a baby. The judge called for the results so they could settle their issue back to normal.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Rogers, you are his father. Both of you all burst into tears in that moment. What do you feel?
Your Honor, I grew up without a father, so I know what it's like. And I told myself from day one I was not going to be that person.